but I figured only Ruth would get it, so.
I fixed it.
Look at that.
Okay, we're gonna move some stuff.
And Colby looks like the sunset is appearing.
All right.
I guess I could see everyone at once.
It's the crew. Alright, let's just make sure all the buttons work. Oh, I'm the spotlight. Ooh,
Oh, someone's so special, isn't he?
thanks. Yeah, I know, right?
Almost like you're putting all this together.
Wow.
What? I don't know what you mean. Okay. Maybe messages on Slack. All right, let's start. So am I no longer spotlighted? Right.
Also, the menacing would be unprofessional, so.
You menacing? What? Don't know what you're talking about. Don't know
That's
what you
the
mean.
point. Like, I could just put the kanji like, doot, 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 doot.
Okay. All right.
I
So.
would totally do that. I would totally do that.
All right. So, my name is Riley Busan.
Next call.
All right. I'm starting. All right. So, hi, I'm Riley Busan. I'm the board. Well, I represent the siblings on the board. I think it's like to my. What is it? No. That way. I think that's Ruth. Nathan's to my right. What is it? Below me, that's Oliver. I'm trying to get direction. That way is okay. Now it's changing up on me. I don't like this. But yeah, it's Nathan, Ruth, Oliver, Jillian, Colby, and Ian. You guys don't all have to talk at once.
I can certainly try.
All right, so. All right.
So why have you brought us all here today, Riley?
Okay, so sorry, I was checking buttons. So we have to 1 second. Gotta figure out more things with why I'm the one. Okay, there we go. There we go. I'm no longer the one that's highlighted. All right, that should fix things, Sharon. Okay, so normally this would be taking place during the conference where it's all of us are sitting up in front of everybody on chairs, and it's somebody wanders around us and people ask questions and we answer them. This year's a little different because of Corona. How stupid it is.
Big bad.
Bad. So yeah, it's a little different. This year we're just kind of be going over topics that we feel like should be discussed regarding siblings. And just kind of, I mean, we'll also be answering questions as we go through. So, but we're mostly just going to be discussing stuff that we think should be covered. But also, there's also a few things that I would like to bring up as far as such as the siblings only breakout session next week. I believe it's the 20.
It looks like people can't see the panel.
I'm trying to fix that. Why isn't? Oh, oh, because they're probably in speaker view, and not gallery view. Um, okay, so yeah, so the breakout session is going to be mostly siblings. It's going to be kind of close to just siblings, but it's with Emily Hole, who's in charge of a sib shop over in Bellevue, and she's going to be just kind of going over different things that uh, like that affect siblings. She's a sibling herself, not a particularly a ret sibling, but uh, she's got she kind of well she does this as a job, and so we're kind of just going to be talking about different things and all that. Um, I said, oh, did I not say the date? So it would be, I believe it's the 29th at 4, I think is what is set. I think is what we've figured out. So yeah. Okay, so one of the things, oh, it'll also be posted on Facebook and sent via email. Okay, so sorry, trying to find things. All right, so one of the things that we kind of talked about going over is where it's each sibling kind of comes up with something that they would that they think should be brought up and talked about as far as informing people about things, and then a question for another sibling that they would like another sibling to answer. So I'm going to actually start off with Ian as far as coming up with the first discussion to talk about.
Okay. I've thought about this for the past couple weeks, and I feel like a fair thing to start out by acknowledging is, even though a lot of us have siblings with Rett syndrome, there is still a lot of difference between each of our lives. For example, I know Leah is a lot more has a lot more medical difficulties that Kat doesn't have. So when Riley talks about things such as seizures, I find it somewhat hard to relate, even though I also have a sister with Rett syndrome. You know, Rett syndrome.
Because like Leah just recently was
In the hospital, right?
was just recently in the hospital with pneumonia, and well, still is recovering from it. But yeah, it's to the point where at this point pneumonia has gotten pretty common as far as like every year, like about during the winter or summer, it comes up about that time that Leah gets pneumonia. And so I mean when your sister has a half collapsed lung, it's dangerous. And so, but what rocks about these guys is I can I'll throw up something like her oxygen stats, and Jillian will be like, oh, okay, yeah, and Jillian will understand because Jillian most likely has the same device, like knows of the same device that we have that
But I
checks
have no
Leah's
idea what he's
oxygen
talking
stats.
about.
But Ian's like, what?
Remember, yeah, like 22 degrees Fahrenheit, right? What does that mean?
Well, I wouldn't go with that, but
Exactly.
but yeah, so but yeah, and then there's also there was the uh, yeah, here I'll go for the next one. Also, I was also gonna go with sibling interaction as like kind of like to go with that one, because we all most of us met each other like for the first time uh, in Walla Walla, which I think was 2017. So we've known each other for about 3 years, but it feels like we've known each other for longer. And but yeah, it's like it seems like it was a long Walla was a long time ago, but when you look at it, it was like 2017 was the first time most of us met. And then but I mean I'd met Ian before that, like a year or two before that. Colby I'd known long before that. But it was just kind of the way it works with us is it's just kind of like a, hey, you're in the same boat as me.
I know that you have the same problems as I do. Let's be friends.
Basically, you're not far from that about that.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of a, hey, you. It's like normally with at school and stuff, I'd be like, oh yeah, I've got this going on with Leah, and my friends would be like, oh okay. I mean, just from out of like their their background of this is just as far as like just from what I talk about. And I mean, some of them have met Leah personally and are kind of like, yeah, it's they kind of get a feeling of like they see her and kind of see what she can do. Uh, and they and so a lot of them are kind of like, I've got some friends that don't act shy, but some of them act shy around Leah just because they don't know how to communicate with her. Um, but I, I like to bring this up. When Ian came to visit for during my birthday, he came over and every time we would walk by my sister's room, he would go in and say hi to her, and it made her day. Like it just every time it was just kind of like just the interaction of somebody of one of my friends coming in and just going, "Hey, how you doing?" And she loved it. Um, and I mean, I talk about these guys all the time because these guys are become kind of like a second family to me. And no matter how weird or crazy things get, it's just kind of like it's just one big happy family. We don't ever really get mad at each other. Um, so yeah. All right. So who do I want to have go next? Let's go, Jillian.
Hi.
All right, you bring up the next topic.
So I just lost track of what I was saying. My body just shut down, so I'm not as calm as I seem now.
Here, how about so Jillian, Sharon had a question. So so do you choose your non-ret related friends by how they interact with your ret person?
Most of my friends don't realize I have a sibling with a disability or a syndrome until I get to know them and trust them. So when I do have friends that come over, I do explain what my sister has and that she's just a normal human being. And they treat her as a normal human being, and I tell my friends that she speaks with her eyes, and it's not as different or as weird as others may see it, but it's nice having friends that you can know that you're struggling with this as in your life, and having non-related friends just makes you feel more part of the world. They like help you realize that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
In a way.
So yeah, it's kind of just it's it's kind of based off of a, I guess like a trust thing. It's to me it's kind of like a way of showing my friends that I trust them by
Yeah.
letting them be with Leah and interact. And I mean, I've had some friends in the past that will actually go out of their way, and like if they see if because a few times Leah and I have been at the same school, and there's been a few times where uh, friends of mine will see her in the hallway and wave to her and say hi, and it's awesome. Uh, so, right. So, let's see here.
There's a question down below.
Yes, I don't see anything on the Q&A. Oh, Ruth, do you want to take this one or Colby?
I can try this one. I can
Okay.
try making this one. All right. The question is, as parents, what can we do to support you? I feel like as a Rett child, like as the sibling of a Rett child, it becomes very easy to become independent. You learn to help out your sister as they grow up and as they live and do everything that you two can do. We learn that it's much easier to what's the word? It's much easier to okay. It's very easy to become independent and start working on our own, but it's also good for us to remember that hey, there's so much more that we can do to help. Why do this when you can go above and beyond? And for supporting us, I feel like it's great for us to realize what there is that we can do to help more than just our siblings. We can help other people with their needs as well. So I think when it comes to supporting us, it should be about helping us understand that we can help way beyond what we can realize. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So just basically it's just growing up. So basically it's as we're growing up, we become kind of like we grow more and more used to allowing our sibling to take priority.
Yeah.
Where it's like personally it's the because I kind of use this as my go-to example. In sixth grade, when I was in sixth grade, Leah went in for her back surgery to have her spine fused, and I use this example because I would uh, my my dad and my grandma would take turns watching me because I still had to go to school. So my dad and my grandma would take turns watching me, and my mom and would stay over in Spokane with Leah, and I just kind of became I worked I did my best to work hard on just kind of doing things on my own, um, and just kind of doing my own thing, trying to like trying my best to cause as little worry or as little as needed. Like try doing my home was always trying to figure things out for my homework on my own. Just basically just trying to stay out of the way so that way uh, I wasn't didn't have to worry about me as much. Um, but yeah, it was just kind of like you just kind of learn to grow. You just kind of you're kind of just forced to grow up quicker than a kid should because you kind of have more put on your plate when you're younger than other kids your age do. Um, and so it's just kind of a thing that you kind of have to get used to real quick. Okay, so all right, so Megan had a question. Megan had a question. For the siblings that only have a sibling with Rett, do you wish you had only a neurotypical sibling to share with, or does the siblings group fill that need for you? So, as in, does it? Uh, do you wish that you had another sibling to kind of share, that kind of like share the weight with, or does the sibling group kind of fulfill that? Does anybody want to answer that one?
I can again. I suppose with Kat, growing up, I always wanted like a brother or a sister in addition to Kat that I could like talk to, play games with, and stuff. Because I don't know. I mean, I could interact with Kat, but it was somewhat one-sided. I think I could say that. But now that I'm older and I'm talking to a lot more people, I'm realizing that having a sibling who can like talk to you isn't always as what it's cracked up to be. Like a lot of my friends have pretty bad relationships with their brothers and sisters, so maybe I dodged a bullet, you know? I mean, like Kat can't be mean to me, so I think that's a good thing, and I'm not mean to her, so yeah.
Sassed by Leah the other day. She's quite proud of herself for. Uh, well, Leah's gotten into the habit of being sassy to her mom and to me sometimes, so
Oh yeah,
that's been.
I stubbed my toe. Kat thought it was hilarious.
Let me add to that. I did at a like now it fills my need, but really at a young age it did not. I learned how to fill my need on my own. I learned how to play on my own, not needing anyone, really. I learned how to do that. But
Video
now
game.
I've learned that I really want to be with other people instead.
Yeah. When I was younger, I played football and baseball by myself. Uh, and I was I I always wanted a younger brother that I could play with and just kind of hang out with and do things that because I would go to school and hear other kids talking about the things that they did with their brother or sister, and I kind of was a lot of times kind of just by myself because it was like there would be this group conversation on the other side of the classroom talking about, oh, went and did this with my sibling, oh, I did this with my sibling, and I'm meanwhile sitting on the other side going, yeah, I'm not going to be able to ever do that because it's kind of difficult to do that with my sibling, and plus it's like I'm gonna well, actually I want to add on to that as far as parents. A lot of times the parents feel the same way because because I've heard my dad talk about this that it's they they hear stuff about doing this with their kids, and not all Rett parents can afford to like take their kids to do this or be like other parents and go and do this. And so a lot of them kind of feel like either they're not paying enough attention to uh, the other sibling, or they're not interacting enough with their other sibling. When it's just kind of like personally, with my dad, I think my dad's a superhero. Like both my parents, I think that they're absolute superheroes just out of because the dedication that they put towards Leah. Uh, and it's yeah, I couldn't ask for better parents for the because they're awesome. um, Actually, there was one that I wanted to bring up. Um, Actually, I was going to bring up with everything that's going on with being stuck at home with your family and your siblings, I want to know what everybody's doing as far as topics, like as far as like activities that they're doing.
I just got home. I don't know.
Those that have been home and that kind of just been like, have you been doing anything with your sibling as far as activities or games or anything? Because Leah and I've been Leah's been enjoying FaceTiming with grandma. She's been FaceTiming with a teacher. Uh, yeah, Leah's been really enjoying FaceTime lately, uh, and also been playing video games, which she seems to absolutely enjoy. Anybody else?
For me, my mom has started working from home, so usually I'm the one who's waking up and feeding her now, which is actually pretty good. It's easier for me to connect with her because now it's always a one-on-one thing. Like usually at dinner, like, oh, I'll feed her once or twice, but now it's like all the time, and I feel like um I can talk with her more and just have that morning conversation that just fills your day.
All right, so we do have a question in the Q&A. This one, I kind of want either Ruth or if Oliver wants to answer this one. Um, so the question is, how do you think having a Rhett sibling has impacted your lives the most? Let's see if Ruth or Oliver want to answer this one because they haven't answered yet. Maybe? I think Ruth's screen froze.
It does look like that.
Ruth, blink yes. Price for yes. Yeah, joked him. No, didn't even work.
Yeah, I think Ruth just froze.
I'll speak.
All right, go ahead.
It's impacted me the most in the way that it helps me accept.
You muted yourself.
Yeah, it helps me accept differences in others better than I would have if I didn't have a Rhett sibling.
So you may have cut out part of that, so you might have to repeat.
It helps me. I'll just say it again. It helps me accept differences in others better than it could have if I didn't have a Rhett sibling.
There we go. Oh, I completely forgot about it. So this was another thing that I wanted to bring up. So I talked to Adrienne a few days ago, and she had the idea of a mentor program, kind of where, kind of just in a way of, kind of just helping. Oh, she's now panelist. Maybe she might bring up like okay. In a way of just kind of helping younger siblings, like it's just like older siblings volunteering to possibly mentor younger siblings in a way of like if a younger sibling's having a rough time, that there's an older sibling that they can talk to, uh, and just kind of see like help them through if they're having a like say like they're having a rough time with something and they kind of need to like they kind of need a perspective of uh how they can like kind of get around this problem, or um like ideas of things to do with their sibling or stuff like that. that that there's older siblings that can kind of be there to help them out and just kind of hang out with them if they need it. And so that was an idea that I kind of thought that would be a good idea as far as like try it out and see if it like how it goes. I probably completely butchered that completely. So based off of Julian's reaction, going, what? Um, so another okay, so actually I was gonna bring up one second. There was actually I had a question for Oliver, and I want to see if he's up for answering this one. So Oliver, you just kind of your first conference was the last conference. I was kind of curious to hear what your perspective is as far as like somebody who just joined and just kind of like figuring things out and just kind of like I guess what I'm trying to say is what was it like kind of just joining in as far as uh, getting to know other siblings?
I liked it because it's other people that I know that have kids with or like siblings with Rett syndrome. So I felt better. And yeah.
All right, so is there anything else that anybody wants to also talk about as far as wait one second, there's another one. Okay, so here's one that Sharon brought up. From each of us, what is the best thing your Rett sibling has taught you so far, or like your Rett person has taught you so far? So let's start with Nathan on that one. What is the best thing that your Rett person has taught you so far?
I don't even know what to say about that because I already really answered it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Like, just kind of as far as
Well,
general acceptance of like seeing the world differently, or
yeah.
all right, Jillian.
So the best thing that I have learned from, or my Rett sibling has taught me, is how to care for people. I really enjoy that because I'm like the mom friend of my group of friends, because I've learned to take care of responsibilities from when I was younger, and that's because I had my sibling. And it just helped me learn what I wanted to be when I grow up. It's just a caring and nice person. So like that's the best thing that I could ever learn. So
All right. Oliver, you want to take the next one, or?
Sure. The thing that I learned from my sibling is that I can do a lot more things than I thought I could do. And she's taught me how to like take care of her too. Because it's harder to take care of her than other people.
I like that one. Ian?
I think that Kat has taught me that sometimes everyone needs help, and there are always people willing to help everyone else, you know?
Colby?
I think it would have to be that that there is more than what we usually experience in life. Like a person might go their entire life without knowing what Rett syndrome was. There's hundreds of different stuff I have never even heard about, but are affecting so many people. It allows me to see things in a new light.
For me, Leah's really taught me just kind of she's given me a look into, like, she's helped teach me how to look in a completely different, like, look at the world in a different way. As far as just staying open to everybody's like problems and just things that happen, to kind of just keep an open mind about things and not to judge things at first glance, um, and kind of get to get to know the problem a bit more, to understand it more, um, because that's kind of what Rett syndrome is, when because you go through a store and you have people that will stare, like, it's pet peeve. It's just, oh, actually, that might be the next topic that I might ask everybody. Uh, but just like having people that kind of just stare at your sibling, and you're just kind of like, at the same time, you're kind of like telling yourself to stay open because they don't understand exactly what's going on. So she's kind of taught me to kind of not be like that, and to kind of stay open to ideas, and uh, just kind of, I don't know. She's taught me a lot. My sister's awesome. Um, so yeah, it's just, she's taught me that being awesome is really cool, and yeah, she's just a great person. Actually, because so next thing I was gonna do was pet peeves. What is something that annoys you, that uh, when other people, like at the store or just all that it just annoys you, that how other people interact with your sibling, or like how they respond to it. All right, so we'll go. Ian looks like he's got a good one.
Okay, it's less of a pet peeve and more of a fantastic story. But I don't know. I think I've told you about this, Riley. Kat, I, and our father, Kat and my mom as well, all are part of this volunteer ski program for people who have disabilities called Ski for All. It's pretty cool. And while Dad and Kat, you tend to stick together, I often work with other people, including there's this one kid. I don't remember his name. I'm just gonna call him Connor for now. He was about 8. I think he had ADHD, very similar to me. That's why we were picked out together. But when it comes to people who can't walk, the ski equipment can still get on the chairlift, but they have to stop the chairlift often and like load them on and then send it on its way. So I was waiting in line with this kid, and he asked me, Ian, why does the chairlift keep stopping? And I told him that oftentimes people who can't walk need help getting on the lifts. And then about 5 minutes later, he's very impatient, antsy to get on the lift, and we're still standing in line, and he turns to me and utters the best line I could ever hope for. Well, not really, but he just says, I hate wheelchair people. They're taking so long.
Oh.
Like,
Uh,
it's just like one of those little kid things where it's just like, oh, I'm sure you didn't actually mean that, but like, wow, you know?
that's an experience.
Yeah.
Yowza.
He's a bit older now. I think he understands, you know?
All right, Ruth.
So this is the pet peeve one.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know, honestly. Like,
Right.
I could probably think of one, but like, I don't think anything really bothers me about other people. It is what it is. They just don't understand. So I'm just like, if that makes any sense.
Ruth is the open-minded, balanced person. All right, Colby, go.
I'm in the same boat as Ruth. I really don't have anything that bothers me. If I see people that are staring and questioning about like what they see at the store, I usually I want to tell them about what they're seeing, and tell them about like, hey, this is my sister, and this is what this is what's up. It's I feel like it's a lot easier to just get annoyed and bothered by that stuff, but you have to realize that after a while, sure, you can be annoyed, but that's not going to get you anywhere. It's better to just put that aside and show them what's going on.
Jillian.
Okay, this doesn't really happen often, but it has happened before. It's when people try to use baby voices with my sibling.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
Baby
that one's
voices. I'm like, she is
definitely up
22 years old, people.
there.
She may look like a 5-year-old. She's tiny, but she is like 22 years old. Get it right. That's my biggest pet peeve with others.
Yeah, that one's definitely up there for me too. It's just kind of like yes, but you know how old she is, right? All right, Nathan, Oliver, you guys got one? Which one of you want to go first? Oliver? Nathan just shrugged it off to you.
There's two annoying things. Sometimes when you go on walks and people are in cars, they stare. And like Ian, like Colby, I want to tell them, but it's just sometimes I'm a bit shy. And when my sister was younger, my grandma used to use baby voices with her.
Nathan, you got one there? I got no audio for you, Nathan.
Definitely one of them would be since Becky makes a lot of noise, I would, if we went to a restaurant with her and people were giving dirty looks because she was making a ton of noise, I would that's definitely one of them. If they were giving dirty looks because of it, definitely would be one. I would not like that.
For me, it's when I was younger, when